Part two. Make sure you watch part two of this video. So I was saying that Democrat policies puts me at severe financial risk. Even as someone who is in the upper middle class, um, I'm extremely financially constrained. I have been forced to tap into my retirement, which there's hardly anything in my retirement. Um, and part of that's the result of, ironically, the lack of safety nets that we have in this country. Even someone who's doing very well, you get in a situation where you have some tough times financially with the job market, whatever it is, and you have this ridiculous unemployment, which is decades old. Like the amount of money they're paying you with unemployment is a joke. So you drain whatever funds you have. So it's been kind of a roller coaster ride for me. When I'm working, I do well. I can accumulate a lot of money. Then when I'm out of work, I don't have a good safety net. So all those funds just get drained. So it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. It's almost like the system designed in a way to keep you from getting too far ahead, right? You can stay comfortable at the very bottom, right? Like I have people living in my house. They're not paying for electricity. They're not paying for rent. They're not paying. They just like living for free, right? In the house all day. So if you're at the very bottom, you can do that. And the entire city has a lot of things and programs, and they can pick up the phone, and it's like they're in charge, right? Meanwhile, after decades of hard work, getting to the point where I could save up enough money to barely get the house, I had to do low down payment loan, and um, and squeak by, right? Decades of work to get to that point, to only have my house just sort of taken over through Democrat policies. So, what's the result of that? If I'm a normie and I'm not really knowledgeable on American politics, it'll be easy to recruit me to the Republican side, because you make a simple equation. You're like, okay, I hear all this mumbo jumbo, Republicans are racist and blah, 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 but nothing they do has ever affected me. Now, you got to be a little bit naive to be thinking that way when you're living in a blue state, right? Of course, Republican policies aren't affecting you because you live in, but again, people lack critical thinking. So you might not think on that level. You're just thinking, well, Republicans, all this talk, it doesn't affect me. Like, it's stupid, right? But anyway, that's the way you might expect a normie to think. Republicans aren't affecting me at all, one way or the other. And then when I listen to their rhetoric, I like what they're saying, like low taxes. Taxes are a big burden, right? Like for me, I pay $30,000 in taxes for my home. Right? I'm going to. This will be the first year, but $30,000 in taxes. Imagine if that could cut down. That'd be a great help to me, right? I wouldn't be so constrained right now if I didn't have such a high tax burden. Um, I make significant income, so it's just a lot of taxes. I pay a lot of taxes, so if you could cut that down, like that'd be a lot more money in my pocket. So, for example, if my taxes were much lower, I would not have gotten the situation that I'm in now so quickly. I mean, it's only been, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, and already like I'm on fumes. With my income, if I had lower taxes, I could have had a bigger safety net. So maybe I could have lasted 6 or 7 months before I get to the point that I'm at right now. Right. So now, in reality, things probably wouldn't work out that way. Right. Because the Republicans are not serious either. But again, as a normie thinking, okay, they say all this bad stuff about Republicans, but they're not affecting me in any way negatively, right? I just hear the media saying that, and I like some of the stuff they're saying, like low taxes. Like, yeah, I would love that, right? That appeals to me, right? And then I look at the Democrats. They say all this stuff about helping inequality and whatever, but none of that stuff is really, benefiting me in any way. But some of what they're doing is hurting me severely, right? So it's like, okay, as a normie with a little bit of lack of critical thinking, I got one party talking some stuff that would be a great help to me, right? No knowledge of whether they'll deliver or not, but just I like what I hear, right? they're not doing anything that's affecting me negatively. Now, if you live in a red state, that's a different story. Seeing your rent go up by $1,000 in Florida, I think would definitely hurt you. So that's the way a Republican policy could really hurt you. But I'm isolated from that because I live in a blue state, right? But bottom line is, I don't have the experience of being hurt by Republican policies. I absolutely have the experience of being hurt severely by Democrat policies. So it's kind of like, okay, so they're talking about all these programs and stuff to help people. Yeah, it sounds nice in theory, but if that stuff's going to be hurting me and putting me at risk, then I'd rather vote for Republicans. I know they say they don't really do much to help people, but I'd rather vote for the party that stays out of the way and leaves me alone. Like, I worked hard to get where I'm at. Allow me to continue to be empowered to work hard and build something, right? Like right now, I would be in a very good situation if Democrats were not getting in my way with their rental assistance programs that are designed for optics, right? I have a nice property. I could be making a good income and basically shielding myself from the lack of safety net, because that was the point. I bought this house to create my own safety net because the safety nets in this country are inadequate. So when I'm out of work or times get tough, I don't have to depend on the joke of safety net that we have in this country. You know, outdated unemployment, for example. Um, so I could easily come to the conclusion that voting Republican is the way to go. Now, unfortunately, I am well aware of what the Republicans are all about and what the Democrats are all about and how the game is played. So I would not fall for that. But I could see a lot of Americans falling for that and switching over and voting for Republicans. Because, again, you make a simple equation. Who's hurting you? Who's helping you? Well, no one's helping you, right? Unless you're at the very bottom. But you do know who's hurting you, and theoretically, you could see who might help you, right? Because they're saying low taxes. You're like, that would help, right? Without having an understanding that that's probably not going to be the case, right? Because the help that they're going to offer is more going to benefit people who are much higher, financially successful than I am. But again, I could see how people could fall for the rhetoric. I could see how people could say to themselves, they see government programs. I know on the left they'll talk about programs that do work and like, oh, look at Medicare and how important it is, blah blah. But the reality is, the government does suck at much of what they do. They do certain things good, but there's a lot of things that they do suck at. Now, understandably, with knowledge of how politics works, I realize that one of the reasons why the government sucks at some of these programs is because of Republicans. Because their tactic is to sabotage these programs and then point fingers and say, "Oh, look, this program sucks." So if the Democrats actually come with a program that actually can help a lot of people, the Republicans will frame it as if it's a disaster, it's going to destroy this country, it's socialism, whatever it is, and fairmonger, and that's how they get votes, that's how they get power. And then they will also do whatever they can to dismantle whatever program. They'll describe the program as the devil, and they will vow to, we're going to shut this program down because it's dangerous and blah, 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 right? So then they damage the program, they take away funding, they do whatever they can to hurt it. And then when the program starts to fail as a result, now that won't be the only reason. People on the left would like to pretend like that's the only reason it fails. That's not the only reason, but that's part of it. Then they'll go and say, oh, look, see, this is what we told you. This is no good. Look at damage that's causing. This program sucks. Yeah, it sucks partially because you guys made it so, like self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, the other reason why it sucks, again, because the Democrats aren't serious. So Democrats aren't serious, so they aren't spending their time because it's difficult to solve problems. You're going to need to hit that drawing board over and over again and keep restructuring and redesigning. Okay, this is the fundamental policy you want to come up with. We think this can help people. You do it. You do an analysis. How good is it doing? What's the pros? What's the cons? You address the cons. So this is great for these people, but it's hurting these other people. So let's make a modification. Okay, that's a little bit better, but there's still some other issues. Like, it's a constant process to improve and improve and improve. I've never really seen that with government. Now, somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below, but I don't really see that. They just come up with these programs that sound good, implement them, and then either they work or they don't work. If they don't work, they just continue to not work, and it's just like whatever. Would you rather not have any of this at all? Right? What do you want? You want to have no unemployment? Like it's either like it's either all in or all out. There's no idea of modifying and fixing and addressing problems. Like no one wants to talk about problems with the border. No one wants to talk about why the colleges cost us much, and what is the path to fixing this problem that got them to the cost. They just want to talk about the stuff that's easy. Oh, let's free college, free college. Like it's simple. Everybody can understand free college. Everybody can understand the value of college and what it could mean to a lot of people's lives where they don't have to pay for college. Like they can understand that, but getting into the nuance of like what's the right way to do this, why is this problem the way it is in the first place? Too complicated, right? We're in this country, we love sex and explosions, right? We're the Hollywood, United States of Hollywood. We love sex and explosions, right? Nice and simple buzzwords. Free college, Medicare for all, like healthcare. Everyone should have a home, right? Defund the police, right? Right. And I'll do a video about defund the police. Defund the police is actually a great idea. And actually, police support defunding the police. They just don't know it. Because again, no one knows what defund the police actually means. I don't mean that literally, but it's like most people talking about it don't know what it's about. If you were to explain to a police officer what defund the police actually means, I can bet you that a ton of them would actually support it. Because if you actually defunded the police in the way that they talked about, you would actually improve the jobs of police officers, letting them spend more time doing what they signed up to do as opposed to doing stuff that they didn't sign up to do, right? Like a lot of police signed up for, well, I should say a lot of police. There are police who signed up who want to, fight crime and make the streets safer, whatever it is, right? Obviously, people who are anti-police, they will dismiss that completely. They'll focus on the bad cops, and I'm not talking about, there's a conversation that we need to have in another video. I'll go into more details, but I think that the way that things are going on the left, it is recruiting a lot of people to the right? And this is probably just one of many examples of how that works. I want to hear your thoughts. Comment below. This is Debate Me channel. Debate me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.